Imagine this. You're lying in bed at 3 a.m. scrolling through social media when you see yet another post screaming at you, "Good vibes only. Think positive and you'll manifest success." Your thoughts create your reality. You force a smile, repeating the affirmations you've been taught. I am abundant. I am joyful. I am unstoppable. But then a whisper in the dark. Then why do you feel so empty? The positivity paradox. Here's the truth. No self-help guru will tell you, the more desperately you chase happiness, the more it abandons you. Study after study reveals, people who aggressively suppress negative emotions experience higher rates of anxiety and depression. Toxic positivity correlates with increased emotional numbness and isolation. The law of attraction mindset often leads to greater shame when reality refuses to obey your thoughts. This isn't just ineffective, it's backwards, like trying to extinguish fire by dousing it in gasoline. A litmus test for toxic positivity. Ask yourself, when you're hurting, do you actually feel better after being told, just stay positive? How many times have you plastered on a smile while screaming inside? What parts of yourself have you abandoned because they weren't good vibes material? This isn't enlightenment. This is emotional amputation, chopping off pieces of your humanity to fit an Instagram quote version of existence. The Jungian shadow of forced happiness. Carl Jung warned, what you resist not only persists, but will grow in size. When you label sadness as bad, treat anger as toxic, shame yourself for normal human struggles, you don't eliminate those feelings, you empower them. They don't disappear, they go underground, mutate, resurfaces as panic attacks, chronic fatigue, or that inexplicable rage when someone says, just be grateful, the Nietzschean nightmare. When optimism becomes oppression, Nietzsche saw this coming. Man's most natural inclination is to lie to himself. Modern positivity culture is the ultimate lie. It pathologizes normal suffering, turns grief into a mindset problem, convinces you that systemic injustices can be overcome with better affirmations. Worst of all, it makes you complicit in your own suffering. If reality doesn't match your high vibrations, the logic says, it's your fault for not believing hard enough. The billion-dollar hope industry. Consider this. The self-help industry is worth $43 billion annually. Positive psychology courses sell for thousands. Instagram gurus profit from your desperation for quick fixes. They're not selling solutions. They're selling spiritual bypassing, a way to avoid doing the actual work of healing because I'm manifesting abundance sounds easier than therapy. This isn't about rejecting happiness. It's about recognizing, what if pursuing happiness is what makes it flee? Could your positive mindset actually be a defense mechanism against real growth? How much authentic living have you sacrificed at the altar of forced optimism? The terror here isn't that positivity fails. It's that it succeeds at keeping you from ever confronting reality. You've likely been told your whole life that darkness is the enemy, but what if the real danger is refusing to see in the dark? The manufactured smile. How positivity became tyranny. Your brain didn't evolve to be happy. It evolved to survive. This biological truth collides violently with modern positivity culture, creating what psychologists call the happiness paradox. The harder you chase euphoria, the more elusive it becomes. But why? Because forced optimism isn't enlightenment, it's systemic avoidance dressed in spiritual language, the Schopenhauerian truth. Suffering is the default, Arthur. Schopenhauer saw through the illusion. Life swings like a pendulum between pain and boredom. His insight reveals happiness exists in fleeting moments, not perpetual states. The pursuit of constant joy is fundamentally anti-human. Discomfort isn't an error, it's feedback, modern positivity. Culture inverts this wisdom, pathologizing the very struggles that fuel growth. The Jungian shadow of toxic positivity, Carl Jung's shadow concept, explains why this backfires. When you suppress grief, it metastasizes as chronic fatigue, deny anger, it erupts as passive aggression, shame. Fear, it mutates into anxiety disorders. The good vibes only mantra doesn't eliminate darkness. It drives it deeper into your psyche, where it grows more powerful. The Huxleyan distraction, Soma for the digital age. Aldous Huxley predicted this in Brave New World. Pharmaceutical happiness, like the drug Soma. Mandatory positivity, everyone belongs to everyone else. Avoidance of discomfort as social control. Sound familiar? Today's version, SSRIs prescribed like candy, not against meds but against overprescription. Corporate mindfulness programs that pathologize burnout instead of fixing toxic workplaces. Spiritual bypassing that reframes poverty as lack mindset. This isn't wellness, it's pacification. The Nietzschean will to delusion. Nietzsche warned, hope is the worst of evils, for it prolongs the torment of man. Applied to positivity culture, false hope, just believe and you'll be rich, prevents systemic change. Magical thinking replaces critical action. Victim blaming masquerades as empowerment. Your trauma is just a limiting belief. The result? A society that medicates symptoms while ignoring diseases. The Frankl exception. Meaning over happiness. Viktor Frankl survived Auschwitz by discovering happiness is unreliable. Meaning is unshakable. His logotherapy reveals those who sought happiness in camps often broke. Those who found meaning in suffering often survived. Purpose transcends circumstances. Yet modern positivity culture preaches the opposite. Avoid pain at all costs. The capitalist co-opting of wellness positivity isn't just ineffective, it's big business. 43B self-help industry. Selling quick fixes, corporate mindfulness programs that pathologize stress instead of reforming toxic workplaces, Instagram gurus monetizing desperation. This isn't enlightenment. It's the commodification of avoidance. The psychological toll of forced smiles. Research shows emotional suppression, 30% higher risk of early death. Toxic positivity, increased rates of dissociation. Fake it till you make it. Linked to imposter syndrome, your body keeps score. Even if your Instagram feed doesn't. The fork in the road, you now face a choice. Continue swallowing the positivity poison, or confront the liberating truth that real growth begins where comfort ends. The emotional debt crisis, you cannot bypass pain, you can only defer it. And like all debts, the longer you avoid payment, the more crushing the interest becomes. This is the hidden cost of toxic positivity. Every suppressed emotion becomes a psychological time bomb. The neurological betrayal, your brain doesn't delete negative emotions when you ignore them. It amplifies them in the amygdala, fear center, redirects them into somatic symptoms, chronic pain, fatigue, stores them as implicit memories, triggering unexplained reactions. Studies show people who suppress grief have 40% higher cortisol levels, forced. Smiling correlates with increased cardiovascular stress. Emotional avoidance predicts earlier onset of chronic illness. Your body always collects what your mind refuses to process. The social contagion of fake positivity. This isn't just personal, it's cultural malpractice. In healthcare, doctors dismissing pain as stress, therapists pushing gratitude journals over trauma work in relationships, partners weaponizing positivity. Why can't you just be happy? Friendships collapsing under the weight of performative cheer. In workplaces, mandatory fun that gaslights employee burnout. Leadership training that rebrands exploitation as opportunity. The result? A society allergic to authenticity. The spiritual bypass industrial complex wellness culture has become the new opiate of the masses. Manifestation gurus selling magical thinking to the desperate corporate mindfulness programs, medicating systemic issues, Instagram coaches pathologizing normal human struggles. This $4.2 trillion wellness industry profits by convincing you that poverty is a mindset problem. Trauma can be positive vibed away. Systemic injustice is just low vibration thinking. It's not enlightenment, it's spiritual capitalism. The positivity. Delusion feedback loop. The more you believe thoughts create reality, the more you blame yourself when reality disagrees, the harder you try to control uncontrollable events, the deeper you sink into magical thinking. Studies reveal law of attraction. Believers show higher rates of financial distress. Positive thinking correlates with poorer crisis decision-making. Manifestation practices often delay practical action. This isn't empowerment. It's self-sabotage in spiritual drag. The emotional illiteracy epidemic. We're raising generations who can't articulate sadness beyond "I'm fine." Mistake numbness for peace, confuse positivity with healing. The data is grim. 60% of Gen Z reports difficulty identifying emotions, teen self-harm. Rates have tripled since 2009. College counseling centers report 73% increase in crisis visits. When you demonize darkness, you don't eliminate it. You create monsters. The fork in the road. You now stand at a crossroads. Continue swallowing the positivity poison, or discover the revolutionary power of radical acceptance. The antidote to forced positivity. You've been sold a lie. That happiness is a choice, that pain is a failure, that darkness must be conquered. But what if the real path to peace isn't more control but less? Here's how to dismantle toxic positivity and reclaim your emotional sovereignty. Step 1. The radical permission to feel. The lie. Negative emotions are dangerous. The truth. Emotions are data, not defects. Action. Name it to tame it. When you feel bad, dig deeper. Is this grief, rage, fear? Studies show simply labeling emotions reduces their intensity by 40%. Set a timer for darkness. Allow yourself 10 minutes of unfiltered emotional expression. Daily scream into a pillow, journal raw thoughts, punch a mattress. Paradoxically, this contained catharsis prevents emotional explosions. Later, create an emotional resume. List every negative emotion and what it has taught you. Example: my anxiety taught me to prepare thoroughly. Step 2. The shadow work revolution. Carl Jung's greatest gift was revealing. Your darkness contains your unlived life. Exercises. The mirror dialogue. Stand before a mirror and speak to your negative trait. Example: anger. What are you protecting me from? The benefit hunt. For every bad emotion, identify its hidden superpower. Depression, depth anxiety, alertness guilt. Moral compass. Artistic shadow portraits. Draw, paint, punch, sculpt your dark emotions as mythical creatures. This externalization reveals their true form and function. Step 3. The sacred practice of negative visualization. Stoic philosophers practiced premeditatio malorum, imagining worst-case scenarios to build psychological immunity, discover hidden resources, appreciate present blessings. Modern application. Write your obituary detail, both your achievements and failures. Notice which regrets truly matter. What if? Game. Spend 5 minutes daily imagining losing your job, a loved one dying, your greatest fear manifesting. This isn't pessimism, it's emotional vaccination, gratitude through deprivation, Occasionally skip meals, sleep, comforts to reactivate. Appreciation, step 4. The anti-positivity social detox. Clean up your emotional environment. Unfollow toxic motivators. Any account that implies happiness is a choice. Good vibes only. Your thoughts create reality. Rewire. Your language replace. Stay. Positive with I'm here with you swap. It could be worse with that sounds painful. Create a truth-telling circle. Gather friends for monthly no-filter nights. Rules. No advice, no silver linings, just witnessing. Step 5. The dark night of the soul ritual. Ancient cultures understood. Transformation requires descent. Modern ritual. Choose a weekend for voluntary darkness. No screens, no distractions, no forced cheer. Confront your existential questions. What pain have I been avoiding? Who would I be without my problems? What truths is positivity helping me ignore? Emergence. Plan, create an integration ritual. Bath, walk in nature, art. Note what insights arose from the darkness, the liberating realization. This isn't about rejecting joy, it's about expanding your emotional range. When you stop fighting your shadows, depression becomes depth, anxiety becomes anticipation, anger becomes agency. The Japanese art of kintsugi teaches there is more beauty in broken things repaired with gold than in those never broken at all. Your fractures aren't failures. They're the places where your light enters and exits. The alchemy of authentic wholeness. Here's the secret that changes everything. Darkness isn't the absence of light. It's the womb where light is born. All spiritual traditions whisper this truth in different tongues. Christian mystics sought God in the dark night of the soul. Taoism reveals how yin contains the seed of yang. Jungian psychology shows the shadow holds your unlived potential. This isn't philosophy. It's neurological fact. The brain's hidden compass. Neuroscience now confirms what sages knew. Negative emotions activate the anterior cingulate cortex, your neural truth detector. People who process, not suppress grief, show increased prefrontal cortex integration. Moments of existential dread often precede cognitive breakthroughs. Your lowest points aren't failures, they're your nervous system's firmware updates. The sacred discomfort principle. Nature's universal law. Forests need wildfires to clear deadwood and germinate seeds. Muscles require micro-tears to grow stronger. The immune system demands exposure to develop resistance. Why would your psyche be different? Your most painful moments. Break outdated mental models. Burn away false identities. Force necessary adaptations. This is why post-traumatic growth consistently outperforms forced positivity in long-term well-being studies. The death of the false self, that carefully curated positive persona. It's suffocating you. The path to liberation follows 3 funeral processions. Bury, I should be happy. Embrace, I choose to be authentic. Kill, good vibes only. Resurrect. All vibes have wisdom. Crema tea. Everything happens for a reason. Plant, I give my suffering meaning. This isn't pessimism, it's psychological alchemy. The quantum perspective. Shift reality isn't binary, positive, negative. It's a waveform of potential where grief becomes gratitude's tutor, rage transforms into righteous action, anxiety evolves into anticipatory wisdom. Ancient alchemists didn't turn lead into gold, literally. They transformed suffering into meaning. Now you hold their philosopher's stone. Tonight, as the world sleeps, light a candle in darkness, ask aloud, what truth have I been avoiding? Listen not with your mind, but with your viscera. The answer won't come in words. It will arrive as a tightening in your chest, a forgotten memory surfacing, an inexplicable urge to create or release. This is your shadow knocking at the door of your awareness. The last illusion, To shatter, after all this work, one final veil remains. The belief that this journey ends. It doesn't. You aren't becoming enlightened. You're learning to dance with the dark. Some days you'll lead. Some days you'll follow. Some days you'll collapse together in exhausted truth. This isn't failure. It's the sacred rhythm of an authentic life. The brightest flames cast the darkest shadows. Stop running from yours. Come find me where the light and dark embrace.